Chapter 1. Prologue. 21 years ago. It was the night of my 13th birthday, a day where I should have just chilled with my friends. We were going to go down by the canyon, have a bonfire, but something wasn't right. I could feel it. I stayed in my room telling them I was feeling great. My emotions were wreaking havoc within me, as if wanting an outlet from the confines of my body.
Alejandro, what's wrong?
My mom's soft voice asked from outside the door. Just leave me alone, please. Fear. I felt fear. Something inside me was changing. I gripped the window ledge, staring up at the moon. Leave him be. He isn't worth it. My father's cold voice came. He had always hated me. I don't even know why. My heart was racing in my chest. I hated this. It was as if something was screaming to be set free. I closed my eyes, trying to calm myself, but it was no use. I could hear them all. The voices in the entire house. Why was this happening? I could hear every poisonous word that left my dad's mouth as they walked away.
Ricardo, he's a child. There must be something wrong.
Mom whispered to Dad as they entered their bedroom. He's a disobedient mutt. There's nothing wrong, he scoffed. Anger filled me with a fiery passion. Why the hell did he hate me so much? My heart was thumping loudly. The moon was making me feel odd. Why did it have to be a full moon tonight? Ever since I could remember, I felt restless on a full moon. Sure, I was a werewolf, but this wasn't normal. And it wasn't like I had a wolf yet. I'm not disobedient, I whispered. What did I do wrong? I always tried to live up to his standards, but I was never good enough. He's a worthless piece of trash. That one is going to die young. Trust me. His words made my blood boil. My fingernails dug into the window ledge, a growl tearing from my lips. I saw red as I turned towards the door. I was done with having to hear this. I pulled it open and stormed down the hall to my parents' room. Each antagonizing remark that left my father's lips made my anger surge. I ripped open their door, not even realizing I had taken it off the hinges. My mother screamed, and Dad looked shocked. What the fuck is that? He whispered, looking at me. I glared at him, feeling agonizing pain rip through me. My bones felt like they were burning and breaking. I'm not trash! I'm not disobedient! I growled, not caring about the pain. I couldn't even recognize my voice or understand what was happening. Dad's eyes widened as he stepped back, looking up at me. I frowned. Why was he looking up at me? He was taller than me. You worthless mutt! How dare you! What the hell are you? Dad roared. He was the alpha. He always hated how his alpha command never worked on me. I knew it was that reason. The reason he always beat me when I disobeyed him. To show me that he was stronger, but why? Was that such a big deal? I am not worthless. Why do you hate me so much? I growled. I couldn't even recognize my voice. I told you he was a freak, Dad whispered, disgust and contempt clear in his voice. Anger flared within me, and I lunged at him. It felt like a nightmare. I could see what was happening, but at the same time, I wasn't in control. I saw my black, furry paws with long claws tear into my father. I couldn't feel anything, but at the same time, I was calm. And then, suddenly everything went black. When I came to, I was standing naked in my parents' bedroom, a once summer country room that was now a nightmare. Shredded body parts littered the room and blood. Claw marks stained every inch of the walls and floor. The strong smell of coppery blood tarnished the air. I stumbled back, horror filling me. I looked at my hands that were covered with blood. I scanned the floor. I remember attacking Dad. But what about Mom? I rushed across the room to the other side of the upturned bed, stopping in my tracks when I saw the hand that lay on the floor, wearing a ring. Mom's ring. Mom's hand. No. How could I have attacked Mom? No, no, no. My heart thundered in my chest, and I wished I could reverse time. I had done this. I had murdered my parents, and I had no idea how. But one thing was clear. Dad was right. I was a freak of nature. Whatever I had turned into wasn't normal. That was my first shift. The first time I had taken someone's life. But it was far from the last time.
Chapter 2. Friends and a Movie. Kiara. The wind blew through my hair, a pleasant welcome on this warm day. The sun was lowering itself in the sky, and I knew I'd have to head inside soon. I was sat just outside our family home, near the river. I smiled gently, my eyes glued to the book in my hand, My Future Stepbrother, by Monroe 30. I loved this book. I smiled as I turned the page, as I leant back against the tree. But I didn't get to lose myself in the book and fantasize about crushing on the male lead Jace, because Liam, my twin brother and future alpha of the Blood Moon Pack, ran over.
Kia, join us! We're gonna go watch a movie,
he said, running his fingers through his hair. I looked up into his cerulean blue eyes, which mirrored Dad's. He looked a lot like Dad, actually. The only difference between the two was Liam had strawberry blonde hair, like Mum's natural color. I don't want to go. You lot go, I replied, turning back to my book. He sighed and snatched it from me, making my eyes flash a brilliant purple. Liam!
Kiara! Enough of this, come on! You know Dad said that the King's coming in 2 days. Then we'll be stuck serving the arrogant ass.
That made me smile. As an alpha, Liam didn't like to take commands from anyone, and having 2 alpha parents didn't help with that. The fact the King was actually coming down meant he would have another superior around.
It's not funny. We've all heard he's more arrogant and cocky than Dad and every other alpha put together.
Liam growled, now glaring at me, his deep navy eyes of his wolf showing through. It's a little funny. I actually want to see Dad bristle, I said cheekily. Liam narrowed his eyes.
You are evil, especially since you're Daddy's little girl.
He mocked. He wasn't wrong. Everyone knew I was Dad's favorite. I was second only to Mom. I stood up and reached for my book. He held it out of my reach. Although I was 5'5", he was over 6 foot.
Come out with us,
he repeated stubbornly. I didn't want to. It would get dark by the time the movie finished, and then I was as blind as a bat. Although I was quite good with my senses, it wasn't the same. I hated holding everyone back no matter how much they said I wasn't a burden. I was one. I always have been one.
Kiara?
I looked at him and was about to argue when Raven, my feisty, sexy, temperamental best friend, came running over. Raven was a little younger than me and still 17 years old. She had her black hair cut in a bob, with bangs, with red and plum streaks in it. The most unique thing about her was her mix-matched eyes. The left was an icy blue, and the right was a blue-green. Did I mention she was also tiny at 4 feet 9 inches? Kia! She said, wrapping her arms around my waist and hugging me tightly. She was dressed all in black. I don't think she owned many other colors. Maybe the occasional purple or red. Ow, ow, you're crushing me, I joked. All I'm crushing are these plushies, she said, prodding my breasts, making me blush, before she let go of me and looked at Liam, who towered high above her. Liam?
Raven,
he replied. Their eyes met, and I simply stood there. Raven has been my best friend since we were little, but there was something between Liam and her. I even think they might be mates. I can just imagine it. Our tiny Luna. But then again, I think she had chemistry with someone else, too.
Since you're here, we were heading out, and Kiara here refuses to go. We both know she listens to you,
he said. Raven crossed her arms. Even you listen to me, she remarked, making Liam glare at her as he shoved the book into her arms.
Don't get ahead of yourself, Bite-Size,
he growled. Ooh, I'm terrified, she mocked, making me laugh. Liam stormed off, and we both started laughing. I'm not going, Raven. Don't even try it, I said stubbornly, taking my book back, frowning. This was a signed copy, and it meant a lot to me. Kia, Liam isn't wrong. Come on, and I'm going to be there too. We want you there. But I was also the reason Raven stuck by my side, when she should be going and doing what she wants. I hated holding everyone back. I always did. Family trips, Mum and Dad couldn't even have their full time together because of me. No matter how old I got, I was still useless. Okay, I gave in. I didn't want them to beg me either, knowing this time neither was going to let me get out of it. Worse, I knew Liam would take it to Dad, too. I brushed my fingers through my waist-length, sandy blonde hair. Guess I had no choice. It was over an hour later, and here we were at the movies. Damon Nicholson, the future beta, and also Liam's best friend, was with us. The four of us have always hung together. We were now laughing over a comedy, and I was actually enjoying the movie, whilst sipping on my Fanta. We had gone into town, although our pack had grown a lot over the years. We didn't have our own cinema yet. I would have preferred horror, Raven said, tossing popcorn up and catching it in her mouth.
I'm sure there's a lot you would have preferred,
Damon remarked, making me laugh, taking popcorn and shoving it in Raven's mouth. She bit onto his finger, giving him a mock glare as Liam looked down at the tiny pint of our group. Zip it, boys, Raven said, releasing Damon's finger. I smiled. I told you I'm the third wheel, or should I say the fourth wheel, I said, looking between the two men and Raven. They all stared at me, looking confused.
What does that even mean?
Liam asked. I shrugged. I often said things without thinking, and I knew it irked them. They exchanged baffled looks, and I turned back to the movie. I preferred romantic movies like The Titanic, but it was hard to choose something we'd all agree on.
By the way, I love that top, Kia,
Damon said teasingly. I raised an eyebrow. I knew what he wanted, an answer to what I meant.
Hey, don't check her out,
Liam said, frowning at my crop top. I had boobs and an ass, and I didn't mind flaunting them.
Kia,
Damon pouted. Don't Kia me. Figure it out, I said smugly. Raven was the only one to smirk as the boys frowned at me. We were halfway through the movie when I suddenly felt the urge for fresh air. I'm stepping out, I said quietly, standing up. Instantly, all three stood and I frowned. Alone. I need the bathroom anyway, Raven said. No, you don't, I said firmly. I could see the little blinks at the end of the seats. Humans couldn't really see in the dark either. Didn't they just follow the little lights?
I'm taking you,
Liam said firmly, taking my hand and pulling me along. From all three, he was the one who dared to piss me off. The other didn't say anything. He led me to the door and let go of me.
Mind link me when you come back here, okay?
Fine, I said. I wasn't going to. Why should I? I hated being treated like an invalid. I stormed off, the familiar spasm of pain at my right ankle to my knee jarring through me.
Love you, Kia.
Liam mind-linked me. My anger faded. I knew what they did was because they loved me. Love you too, big brother. I walked to the bathroom, knowing Liam was watching. Entering, I looked in the mirror. Staring back at me was a pretty young woman. I had a square face and high-defined cheekbones, plump lips, and straight, long hair. But what I loved the most about my face was my eyes. Sage green with a blue ring, a mix of Mum and Dad's. I gave it a few moments before I left the cinema and walked into the parking lot. My wolf was restless. She wanted me to go further out. Why? I asked her. Not that I'd get a reply. but I like to think I could communicate with her. She sometimes sent me emotions as answers. Is there something out there? I asked. The urge to keep walking filled me, and I did, the brightly lit cinema lights becoming fainter as I continued walking. My common sense told me to stop. This wasn't the first time I've done this. Growing up, I followed my impulse and always ended up in danger. But now I had my wolf. Things would be different, right? Although she couldn't see in the dark. She was strong and fast. Suddenly, everything went pitch black. Alarms went off, signaling that there had been a power outage. My heart skipped a beat, but I was calm. I don't think this was a good idea, I said to my wolf. I looked around, but everything was black.
Kiara!
Liam called through the link, panic laced into his voice. Relax, I'm safe. I'll just stay in one place till the lights come on, I replied through the link.
Okay, Raven's coming.
Relax, Liam. He didn't reply, and I knew Raven was probably rushing to the bathroom already. I sighed. Guess I better head back. I turned to walk inside when I heard a strange, unearthly growl. My blood ran cold when I felt something move behind me. The whisper of the wind brushing against me, spurring me into a run.